And welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. Check out and subscribe to our NASCAR mobile alerts. Get the latest NASCAR race results, breaking news sent right to your phone. Text NASCAR to Speed 3 for Speed NASCAR text alerts, written by Good Sam Roadside Assistance. Let's go back trackside to Hermie Sadler.
Nelson Piquet Jr. behind the wall, 3 wide on the racetrack. Tell us what happened.
Well, I mean, I just saw the replay on the camera. Just looked like 17 went and got into the 6, and then they got into me. I mean, nothing I could have done apart from not being in that position that back far in the field. You know, I mean, I was struggling with the truck. The beginning of the race was okay, but after that, struggled after the restart, and just never could pick up the grip again. I don't know. It was loose. It was tight. A bit of everything, and just frustrating because it's hard for the championship. You know, I'm gonna have to recover a lot, but yeah, think about the next race now, and you know, have a new truck for the next race. So
that's a very disappointed Nelson Piquet Jr. Ray.
Well, Hermie, Todd Bodine had been on quite a roll, a 5th, a 3rd, and a win, and then Texas you blew up, and today a wreck. Todd, have you had a chance to see the replay yet, and what happened?
Yeah, I saw it. I thought Justin was blowing up. I mean, I caught him so fast, I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if he got loose off of 4 or what. Caught him real fast, thought he was blowing up, so I went under him, and obviously he wasn't blowing up. Pulled down on my side right there. I mean, he's got plenty of room outside him. He's got to learn to give some space here. We talked to the rookies about it this morning. When you get that close and that tight on somebody, you're just taking all their air, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. So, shame. I hate it for Toyota Care. It's come on for 4 races, and you know, we got a tore up truck.
Okay, pace car coming off. We're about to go back to green. Todd Bodine out for the day.
Buescher on the outside, Crafton on the inside. Green flag back in the air.
Great restart by James Buescher. He's able to pull out in front of Matt Crafton, but here comes Brad Keselowski alongside his truck he owns.
3 wide as they go into turn number 1. Keselowski on the bottom of the racetrack. Hornaday just above him.
How about Timothy Peters up to the high side, trying to get by Kligerman?
Is Ron Hornaday finally going to pass someone on the outside? It looks like he's thinking about them running in on the outside of Matt Crafton. Truck's been really strong on the bottom.
How about Joey Coulter in the 22, able to get by that 88 of Matt Crafton? Coulter up to 2nd now.
Remember that last pit stop when his guys picked him up 5 spots that gave him the track position he hasn't had this entire race.
Started back in the 16th spot, has been fast, and now he's finally got the track position with that fast truck.
Just to clarify, Nelson Piquet Jr. mentioned the 17, but it was actually the 11 he was talking about that got on the inside and got into the 6. 17 of Timothy Peters still out on the racetrack.
Parker Kligerman lose the front end of that truck, started pushing off turn 2, and it pushed right into the wall.
Sparks coming out from underneath the 29 now. Saw it going through the turn.
Saw Ty Dillon make the pass on him. That moves Ty up to the 7th spot. Remember, we talked about falling to the back of the pack wasn't necessarily the kiss of death. Ty Dillon's proven us right.
For Todd Bodine it was. He spun out, got himself back in traffic, and then dove down into turn 3 underneath Justin Lofton. In Justin's defense, he had no idea that Todd could have jumped into that hole that quickly. That was a really aggressive move, and I don't blame Justin for that.
They continue to race, nose to tail, side by side. Out in front, Buescher.
Whoa. In
front of Coulter by 0.7 of a second. Crafton, Hornaday, Peters, your top 5, and you see some great side-by-side racing. Cale Gale in the 33. How about the run by Joey Coulter, just staying in front of the 88 of Matt Crafton?
Yeah, I think Matt Crafton had a run on him, wasn't quite able to pull the pass off.
But that's a real good truck. Watch this, how fast these things will jump away from you. Look, it just jumps out of the groove for Parker Kligerman and into the outside wall. Pretty hard contact there, Phil.
Sure was. See, Timothy, he was following Timothy Peters. See how high Timothy was. Parker was just a little bit higher than that and ran out of room.
Look at Matt Crafton all over Joey Coulter.
Bird dogging that 22, looking for a line, seeing if he can get around Joey Coulter for that 2nd spot. A pretty good run by Ron Hornaday, also back in the 4th position now.
Look at Ron, right to the bottom every turn. He likes his truck down there. That's fun to watch. Different lines, and Ron's making it work.
Comfortably up in the top 5 right now, and 4th has a little bit of a gap over that 5th place truck of Timothy Peters. We're seeing some fast laps now, Michael. Only about 0.4 of a second off our pole that last lap for James Busher.
Yeah, we started out running right around a 32 flat lap time. Now we're down to 31.50. We might wind this baby up running faster than the pole speeds.
Temperatures cooling off, track cooling off, but the action on the track is definitely heating up.
Got a good glimpse of Jason White. Jason right now is running back in the 16th spot. Remember, he made a couple extra pit stops on an earlier caution flag.
James Busher, Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, Ron Hornaday, Timothy Peters. Then it's Brad Keselowski, Parker Kligerman, Johnny Sauter, Ty Dillon, and Jason Leffler. They're your top 10.
Just outside the top 10, that kid Kyle Larson is up to the 11th spot from the back of the pack. That's so cool to watch a young man show up here and be able to race with these guys. Not only race with them, but race through them. He's come all the way up to 11th. There he is.
And again, a young man, Kyle Larson, just 19 years old, out of Elk Grove, California.
Some pretty good company there. He's got Jason Leffler, the 18 truck, and Ty Dillon right in front of him. Doing a great job here for his first ever start.
You can see Leffler's down on the inside of Ty Dillon, trying to take that spot away from him, battling for the 9th position.
With Jason driving for the team owned by Kyle Busch. Kyle won this truck race here 1 year ago. Jason got a little bit loose down there underneath Ty.
How about the 4 of Kyle Larson? He's going to pass Jason Leffler
into the top 10.
So a great run by Kyle Larson.
I'm telling you guys, I saw this young man down in the garage area earlier today, and I didn't know who he was at first, and I didn't think he was old enough to have a license yet. And then you hear about all the racing he's doing, winning races in the K&N Series, racing sprint cars and midgets all over the country, and certainly knows how to drive one of these trucks. And you can see there he's a young man and doing a great job.
And amazingly enough, a lot of times when a driver will make their first start in the Camping World Truck Series, it's going to be on a short track. But not with Kyle Larson. He's on a 1.5 mile, very fast racetrack, very tough. And he's running very well.
I think what enabled him to do that is the fact that he ran the ARCA race at Michigan, a 2-mile track, just a couple weeks ago.
You could hear the spotter giving him a lot of advice, and that's great advice he's getting right there. He said, did you see the 18 get loose under the 3? Just beware. When you get down there, your truck's going to want to do the same thing. So be steady and be careful, but when you get down on the inside of them, beware.
A learning experience for Kyle Larson. And right now, the one who's educating the field is James Busher. He's got a 1.3 second lead over Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, Hornaday, and Timothy Peters. They are your top 5, all chasing Busher. Welcome back as we ride along with race leader James Busher. Take a look at our American Ethanol Fast Fact. Ethanol is the cheapest, cleanest anti-knock ingredient we have for today's higher compression engines. American Ethanol. Busher has a 1.2 second lead over Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, Hornaday, Peters, your top 5.
Hey, right now we've got the 31 of Busher leading this race, the 22 of Coulter second. They're both 22 years old. Can somebody 22 years old win this race?
I think it's possible, but it hasn't happened for quite some time. You normally have to be over 46.
8 of the last 10 winners here have been 46 years of age or older.
How about an interesting driver change that's taking place, Ray? What's going down on pit road?
Well, Brian Silas had to jump out of his Rockingham Speedway Ford, and he was overcome by heat. They said possibly it was something that he ate. He was very violently ill. He has actually gone to the infield care center, and Ross Chastain, who is out of this race because of a blown engine, is jumping in to drive for Brian. It's been an interesting week. Brian and his wife welcomed their brand new baby on the 26th. That's Braden Walter Lee Silas came to this world. So a lot of joy for Brian a couple of days ago. Today, not so much, as he had to crawl out of the cockpit.
And so that'll give a little more seat time for Ross Chastain.
Check out these two. They're running our leader down. Joey Coulter and Matt Crafton have both been faster than James Busher over the last few laps. And look at the run that Coulter gets off turn 2 there. Leaves Matt behind.
Yeah, Matt was the fastest truck on the racetrack that last lap.
Your top 3, Busher, Coulter, Crafton. Then Hornaday and Peters, your top 5. How about a guy breaking into the top 10, though? Kyle Larson now running in the 9th spot, Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, and we talk about how important laps and experience are in this type of racing for a guy like Kyle Larson. Obviously having a very solid night, and he's learning a lot now about what lines to use on the racetrack. And what he did when the 3 truck of Ty Dillon started catching him on the racetrack, he simply moved up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, took the air off the nose of Ty Dillon, and has slowly started to pull away again. He has a lot of experience on this team with his crew chief, Trent Owens. They're talking to him lap by lap. The only unique thing is they're doing all the talking. The driver's not saying a word, but he is driving a very, very smart race so far.
How about what he has been able to do already this season? 3rd in the K&N East points. He's got a win at Gresham Motorsports Park. Finished 13th in his ARCA debut at Michigan. Looking to improve upon that in his first NASCAR start, at least in the top 3 series here in the Truck Series.
As you can see, he swept the 4 Crown Nationals at Eldora all the same night. That Sprint Cars, Midgets, and Silver Crown. Incredible effort by this young man.
Yeah, nominee for last year's Speed Performer of the Year. Pretty impressive young man. And in front of Ty Dillon, who's been consistent in the Camping World Truck Series since Daytona.
All top 10 finishes for Ty this year, each and every race.
So an impressive run for young Kyle Larson. We see Timothy Peters just in front of Brad Keselowski.
Those top 10 finishes just isn't quite enough to get you the point lead, though. Used to be consistency, especially in the trucks. You better win some races if you want to be up in front of the points.
Timothy Peters holding on to the 5th spot. Keselowski trying to find a way around him.
And as we run right now with the trouble that Justin Lofton has had, that 17 truck of Timothy Peters is being shown as our point leader.
Has about a 9-point cushion over James Busher, who's leading this race. Closing in on 50 laps remaining. We talked about the fuel window being anywhere from 50 to 55 laps. So if a caution were to come out or we have green flag pit stops, everyone would be able to make it from here on in.
Most of the field last pitted on lap number 63, so we're only about probably 15 laps away, 15 to 17 laps away from a green flag pit stop.
And if you throw in a green flag pit stop, any of these guys you think will take a gamble and maybe just get 2 tires, or you got to have a lot of gas anyway, maybe take the time to go ahead and get 4?
I think you got to fill it up anyway, Michael, because you're going to have almost fill it up. You're going to have 35 laps or so left, and you have to figure for a possible green white checker as well.
Hadn't heard a whole lot out of any of the teams complaining about tire wear. The tires seem to be pretty consistent, hang with the guys pretty well. So be interesting to see.
You know, we're 37 laps into this run here, and James Busher still running below 32 seconds, which were some of the best laps we saw early in the race on fresh tires.